Imagine a community where you can jump on a bus every 10 minutes, get to the CBD. Quite the contrary. Imagine a regional community where you get a bus to go to like hospital or shopping only once a week. There's the opportunity, and there's a 4-hour window to do your shop. That happens in Australia, and fortunately we've got people like Kimmy that's helping, that's out there. Let's talk about Kim's job and what she's doing out there. Stay tuned.
Good morning, Kim.
Good morning, everyone. How are you all this morning?
Very, very well. And introducing all of our followers to Ms. Kim Weeks, a very beloved vendor who's just sold one of her apartments here in North Manly, and also a pillar of society with her job helping connect regional communities.
And a friend.
That's a very lovely, a very lovely introduction. Thank you very much. It's great to be with you guys this morning.
And thank you for joining.
First of all, most importantly, soccer last night, 2 a.m. You're a big soccer player. You do work at the local soccer club, at the bar pouring beers as well at night for your friends. And you're a big soccer fan. And I've become a big soccer fan overnight. Well done to the Socceroos.
Oh, look, I'm really, really proud. It was a nail-biting affair. Look, Denmark came out early and we just couldn't complete passes. If you have a look at the stats, we were just not in the game. But we pulled our stuff together, and that goal from Lecky was absolutely beautiful. It's a perfect example of placement over power. You've just got to get it past the goalie. And sometimes a sneaky left foot will do it. So
He got all the way to the goal, and then he just stopped. And it's like, mate, shoot! But he just did that perfect placement and just bang.
Yeah, that's it. And that's all it takes. Sometimes all it takes. You don't have to bang it full pelter to goal. Sometimes just slipping it past the keeper is the way to go.
Unbelievable. Anyway, a bit of a harder start this morning for all of us, but thanks for coming on, Kim. Let's talk about regional, rural New South Wales, Australia. A lot of people out there.
There is a huge amount of people that, everybody thinks about transport and they think about Sydney. Like in Sydney, I live above the Beeline bus stop. I can go downstairs and get a bus anywhere in any direction in 10 minutes, and be where I want to be. Out in rural and regional New South Wales, it can be a very different case. We do school runs, so kids, they can travel like 100 kilometres to and from school, and it's one bus every day. We've got other communities that have got one bus that they can get into their regional centre once a week. So we do our best to get our customers connected so they can do the things that they need to do. So they've got their shopping, their medical appointments, their social, their cultural connections. All of this is really, really important, especially to our older Australians and people that have limited access to transport.
One bus a day, that's just completely crazy. And I suppose it does go to show just how much you do take things for granted when you do live in a very developed city. What regional area are you based in?
So I work anything outside of the Sydney Basin. I work in. I don't have a particular area. So I can work on projects anywhere from Byron Bay all the way down to I'm currently in Tumut. I've been in Wagga the last couple of days. And there's little towns around here called Tarcutta and Adelong, really important. I've been out to Burke. That's beautiful country out there. So look, anywhere where the work takes me, anywhere where the customers need a service, I'm there.
That's bizarre. It's just mind-boggling to me because I've been born and raised in the Northern Beaches, and my home is here, my heart is here, and moving or living in a regional area isn't something that's ever crossed my mind. And I suppose out of sight, out of mind, I've not really thought about the disadvantages that are placed on them as a collective community. So without meaning to sound obnoxious and completely Northern Beaches spoiled, it's just something that hasn't been at the forefront of my mind.
Well, there isn't a lot more reliance on, on cars and less on public transport out in the regions. We want to make sure that people have those options, especially as they get older. I mean, not everybody can drive, and then you've got, things like petrol prices and things like that. There's a whole heap of, and social factors that, people don't always have the options that we take for granted every day. So connecting those people is really, really important to us.
What
Connecting
would you say? Kimmy's connecting. Kim's connection. How many people are in these communities that you do service? Is it, because Sydney's huge, right? But when you move out of there, the community numbers generally tend to drop and become much lower.
Yeah, look, you're dealing with like regional hubs, which like things like Newcastle and Wollongong, which are regional hubs of the Blue Mountains. But you've got little communities that, of a couple of hundred, if that. I don't know, like Tarcutta, for example, where I was, it would be a couple of hundred people, but they don't have a supermarket anymore. Their closest thing they've got is a petrol station to go get their goods in, and so we're dealing with things that are really, really, really tiny, but really vital, really, really vital. So, and all they want to do, they don't want to go to the big smoke. They want to go to their next regional town, usually over, to go get what they need. So it's like, connecting hub to spoke.
Why to the other regional town and not to the big smoke? What's the reasoning for that?
They don't need it. Like unless they absolutely need to go, you'll go to your next regional town over, where the services that you need are usually provided. So, our regional towns now are huge. They're cities that stand alone, and we develop plans and things like that so people can get around those centres, and then more plans expanding out there so people can actually get from where they are way out in an isolated area into their nearest regional centre so they can get what they need done.
Connecting, Kim. Can you tell us what a typical day looks like for you in your job, like yesterday, for example? So when do you wake up? Where did you go? What did you talk about? Because you're out there representing. What are you representing? What are you saying? What are you doing in the course of a day?
Well, look, I spend most of my time in Sydney, but when I do get out into the regions, I pounded the pavement. I did 2 days ago, for example, I did 12 kilometres. I walked 12 kilometres, just handing out flyers, talking to people in the community, listening to their stories, and getting feedback on services and things that they want to do. So, yeah, there's a lot of listening, taking things on board, getting that feedback, and trying to implement things the best way that we can.
What were they saying?
Ideas come out.
Yeah.
Hey, they had the service that I'm actually looking at the moment. They've got a lot of great things to say about it. They love it. They absolutely love it. They love the operator. They had great things to say about the actual service itself. When it runs, how it runs. A lot of positive feedback, and they really love it to continue because it's a trial, and they'd like to see it permanent. So
that's hard asking for feedback, because a lot of the time people are put on the spot and basically no news is good news. So it's kind of must be relieving to you to hear that the changes that you were trying to implement are actually positively received.
Yeah, look, it is. You've got to take feedback sometimes constructively on the chin and just smile.
Yes.
But that's what it's about. It's a two-way thing. How can we don't know what we don't know. and we won't learn unless we get that feedback, even if it is negative, so we can make the changes, so we can get what we need, we can deliver what we need to deliver.
Oh yeah, definitely. And did any of that feedback spark you to realize, oh, maybe we could pivot in this direction, or that is a really valid point, and kind of sparked your juices for additional trials and services that you could implement?
Yeah, look, that's always a possibility. You've got to be open to those things, and then take it back to, there's other departments and going, hey, this dropped out of like a feedback session that we had. What services have we got? Because sometimes we've got those services and people just don't know about it. So one of the things that I'm doing in the community is just raising awareness. So we've put some radio ads on, and got some social media happening, and listen, letterbox dropping. I mean, you got it's no different to what you guys do in a way. You're selling, you sell houses for a living. We sell transport. So
you're like a transport angel.
yeah, can't you see the halo above my head? It's about 6 inches from my neck. Yeah,
it's just a bit dusty. It needs a bit of a polishing.
Yeah. Yeah, we do our best. Sometimes the wheels turn a little slowly, but we do it for the greater good. It's not for the money. It's for our communities, and making sure we get them where they need to go safely, on time, and as comfortably as possible.
And in Sydney, we're probably a little bit. I'm ignorant. Like, I must admit, my heart dropped when you said there are people in regional Australia. I guess they've chosen to be this remote, by the way, so I shouldn't feel that bad. But they've basically
without them we wouldn't have a food bowl. You wouldn't have food on your table. You wouldn't have,
right.
That's
right.
That's why we have these communities. I mean, and yeah,
Beautiful
everyone
farmers.
has a function.
And then they're getting a bit older. They decide they don't want to be driving. They have to rely on transport. They may have, even the farmers may have grandparents that are getting a little bit older and things like that. And then they suddenly need this transport system, and they can't get somewhere for only once a week. So if they miss that bus once a week, they have to wait the next week to get to potentially medical appointment and for potentially
or a
shopping.
neighbour, maybe.
Yeah, so I mean, look, we have a multimodal approach. So I mean, there are other options in the community. You've got community transport that help out. You can connect to them, and like there's local charities that come in. So I mean, communities out in the regions are truly resilient, and they do put in to help each other a lot more than we would in the city. Because they've got that sense of community spirit out here. So don't underestimate the resilience of and the pulling together of a community to help them, get what people need.
It's a little bit interesting how you said that in regional communities there is much more sense of community, of know your neighbor, get along with everyone, know everyone's names. I honestly don't really know what that's like.
We see you've got to get out and try it more. I mean, I know in my building, for example, in DY, I know all of the people on my floor, and I know a lot of people in my building, because otherwise you just pass each other on the stairs and you don't know anyone. If you get to know your neighbours, it becomes a safer community. And it's just that high on the street. I mean, it's an art it's something that's been lost. So, but you got to make the effort to do that. A smile, even just a smile and a nod, hello, can change your day. So, I still have that. We still have that in DY.
Yeah.
even like your neighbour that woke you up at 1:30 this morning to watch the soccer with them.
Well, I'm not at home. I'm in Tumut, and sitting in a motel room at the moment. Definitely not my friend, I tell you.
Hang on, right? So that happened. Where did that person come from?
Look, I didn't actually, I was in my PJs. I wasn't getting out of my Peter Alexander's to go and ask. So, yeah, no, he just left the building. So I just got up and had a cup of tea instead.
So they got up, knocked on your door, said, "Watch the soccer," and walked off.
No, they were just very loud and coming into their room, kicking off their shoes, and then leaving again. So, yeah.
Gold.
I heard it all.
Gold.
Oh.
Gold. So connecting, Kim, that's really insightful to learn about rural Australia. And mate, good job doing that. If it wasn't for people like you, yeah.
So, if you see a bus out in the regions, wave to your bus drivers. They deliver a really vital service to the community.
Have a little sign that says "honk if you're horny." I used to do that when I was 11 years old out the back seat. Do you get those signs?
No, we've moved on from there.
Oh. Beep, beep, beep.
You've got to be red, ZANTHANY.
I know, my veins come up.
Watch out! Watch out for these two ladies, man. Dangerous. So, Kim, thank you very much for coming on today and talking about what you do. You're an amazing person for our community, and I didn't know this was happening. So hopefully, this helps people out there just by the awareness from doing something like this, and a little bit more about rural Australia.
Yeah, no, jump on in, come and always come and visit the regions. It's a great. Look, they are great communities. And at least you guys know a little bit more about our public transport system. So thank you very much for having me on. You have a great day.
Beautifully said, Kim. You too. Bye.
Thanks, Anthony.
Thanks,
See ya. Bye. I'll keep you horny, everyone. Bye-bye.